Welcome back to Mike Heath's Orbital Garbage Project. I am Mike Heath, and this is my, our Orbital Garbage Project. This is a podcast all about doing one thing and one thing only: collecting a piece of space trash by any means necessary. Go ahead, get on in here, get close, come on. Snuggle up to this warm audio or visual experience that you're enjoying, because together we are going to save humanity from the problem of space trash. How, you say? Well, let's get into it. I would be remiss not to begin this wonderful edition of MHOGP without talking about Project Hail Mary. Now, because it really, I don't know, it runs parallel to maybe our ethos, what we're trying to do here. You know, there was this issue in space that was going to lead to the demise of humanity. And that's what's going on with the Earth right now. You know, we have millions of pieces of space trash orbiting Earth right now that we're not doing anything about. Actually, I might get into, no, this is, actually, I talked about it over on the Patreon, so you got to check that out. But about somebody who's actually doing something about space trash, like not just us. So that's pretty exciting. But anyways, and it's a great movie. It's basically, I didn't realize it was, I got to slow down now. I'm all hyped up just to talk to you guys. It's been a minute. And we got so many exciting things to talk about. How we're going to collect a piece of space trash. But Project Hail Mary, great movie. Ryan Gosling and a space rock that they learn how to talk to each other. So funny. So great. So many great little jokes. Fist My Bump is a great joke from that movie that got run on. Just these lines have been stuck in my head. Amaze, amaze, amaze is what the rock says, how it translates from it. Rock. It's an Iridian. Also, I just learned that Project Hail Mary is actually based, it's actually a book. I haven't read the book yet, and I love sci-fi, so I got to get into that. I got to dig into it. I would say my only note for Project Hail Mary is that I wish Meryl Streep had a bigger role in it. I was under the influence, the assumption that Meryl Streep was going to be like a major character, not even a major, but like a minor character in the story, and she wasn't. And I just love Streep. I'm a big Streep fan. You know, I'm Streep all the way. That's what I've always said, and I've always been about. No matter, it's something I live by. No matter where I'm going, where I've been, or who I'm with, or where I've come from, or how I'm feeling that day, Meryl Streep all the way. And you can take that to the bank and cash that for Starbucks. You know, some Starbucks. Funny enough, you can't use those at a Starbucks. And we're getting going here. We're getting cooking. I am uncomfortable right now. I'm just a little warm in this jacket, but I have it on. So we're going to muscle through. It has been, I will say this, guys, for raising our public profile, for accomplishing our mission, it's never been brighter than it is right now. We are the brightest star we have ever been. Our star is growing hotter and hotter. We had a viral joke. Well, it wasn't a video. It was just one of those carousel things that comedians are doing online. As of recording this, it's sitting at 2.3 million views. The Instagram, the comedy one, Mike Tony Heath, which I would love to turn to Mike Heath Comedy, but some guy has it. And if you know him, ask him, dude, can Mike have it? Please, he wants it. And but over there, Mike Tony Heath, check it out. It's a pin post. Or maybe it isn't. You know, maybe you're listening to this years later because you just found out about MHOGP, and maybe we're on the precipice of collecting a piece of space. This is going to live on forever. I don't know when you're listening to this, but right now, 10.3 million views. So we gained 400 followers over the last few weeks, from this post. And I don't know. And one of the most exciting things that happened about it is the commissioner for the WNBA is following me on Instagram, at least as of recording this. I don't know if they think I'm some like gluten-free influencer, because I don't have like a ton more gluten-free jokes besides that joke. But who knows? Maybe I will soon, and maybe I will become a maybe that's what it takes for us to collect a piece of space trash, is in order to get the $2 million, we have to become a gluten-free influencer. Which, if that's what it takes, we would do that. I'm not above that. If that's what it took. Anyway, so the WNBA Commissioner is following us. So I don't know if they have heard about MHOGP, from the comedy page, if they've found their way over there. But gosh, we've never been closer to influence than we are right now, guys. And I'm just so excited. I mean, we're growing the socials, so we're getting our profile out there, and people will hear about what we're doing. We've been out on the road doing comedy. We just got back from Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, and it was a trek to get there. I left my home in Seattle at like 1 p.m., and then my layover got delayed. Well, what happened? My flight got delayed a little bit because there's bad weather in Nashville. And I thought it was going to be a layover, but it was a stopover. If you don't know this, like a stopover is where you don't get off the plane. Like your plane stops at an airport, but you're supposed to stay on. And they reiterated this is like, if you get off, you can't get back on, is what I remember them saying. So I was like, oh man, that's a bummer. I'd love to get off, get some dinner. At that point, it was like 6 p.m. my time, like dinner time. But I was like, I'll muscle through. And they're like, we're only going to be here for 15 minutes. And I was like, okay, great. We're going to get to Nashville. I'll get some, midnight Denny's or something like that, right? But then because of the weather in Nashville, they kept delaying it. So we were sitting at the gate for an hour, and they would not let us off the plane. But then finally we're on our way there, and I see a family that was sitting right next to me on the first leg of the trip with like 7 bags of Whataburgers, like this massive family. And I was boiling, and that Southwest let them back on. Because I'm like, dude, if you tell us one thing, I don't believe you anymore. Southwest Airlines, you've done so many wrong things that I have forgiven you for. We're losing 2 check bags for free. We're losing, if you're a credit card holder, you lose the free upgrades that you got to better seats and better boarding. And you've changed the boarding process. Yes, we get to pick our seats, but we've lost so much. But I had pledged my allegiance to you, Southwest. I even got your colors on right now, but I'm about to rip them off because I'm so sick and tired of you. Okay, but I will forgive you because Jesus says that I have to, so I will. But I finally landed in Nashville 2.5 hours late. So I get there, and it's like 2 a.m. No, it's 1 a.m. And I get down to baggage claim, and the baggage carousel, they have like 20 of them at the Nashville airport, and they're not using most of them because it's so late at night. And the one that they're cycling through these flights breaks down. And instead of just moving all the bags over to another carousel, we waited for 75 minutes, which is absolutely redonkulous, dude. I heard Nate Bargatze do his little speech, which it's very funny. It's awesome that he's like doing his speech, but I heard it 5 times. I shouldn't have to hear his voice 5. I love hearing his voice. I'm just saying I shouldn't have been there for 75 minutes, but I will forgive them too. But the thing that broke my spirit was I landed. I went and got it. Finally got my bags, went out and got my Turo rental car, which I love Turo, rent Turo. I'm not an affiliate at all. I just think they're doing great stuff. They're making it super cheap to rent a car. So I'm pro Turo. I'm anti Southwest Airlines, but I'm pro Turo. And I'm not talking about the bull. But I finally got to my car at 2:30 and I was like, all right, man, what's open here in Nashville? I was like, there's 3 McDonald's that are 24/7. Oh, the Golden Arches beckoning me. I'm going to get me 2 hot and spicy McChickens, add cheese. I'm going to get a large fry with buffalo sauce and a sweet tea. I'm looking forward to it. I pull up to the McDonald's, closed. Been closed since 11 p.m. And I am just heartbroken that the corporations in our great country of America are lying to us over and over again. When will the lies stop? Will it be before we collect a piece of space trash, or will it not be? But besides getting to Nashville super late and being super sleep deprived, I had great shows at Zanies Comedy Club in Nashville, one of the best clubs. I mean, just amazing rooms. They have 2 rooms. They have a big room and a small room. I was lucky enough to be able to do both. I got there on Sunday, so I got to do both the Monday shows. I did the Nateland showcase, which was a goal of mine. That I didn't necessarily have a timestamp on it, but just being a guy who's all of his jokes are clean, I thought that would be awesome to get on there and just kind of dip my toes in that world. And I had a really good set. It felt cool to do that. Brian Bates was on the show. He's on the Nateland or the Public Figures podcast now. And Evan Burke, another hilarious Nashville, Zach Townsend, Matt Taylor hosted the show. I met a bunch of other comedians who I cannot remember their names right now, but everyone was just so fun. And then I went over to the big room at Zanies, and I got to do new material Monday and had one of the best sets of my life. It felt exhilarating, to say the least. Had this fun riff off the top, where the comedian before me was talking about shark attacks. So I did a little shark riff, which I'll play for you right now.
This is awkward. I have a fake leg. I lost it to a shark, and then what are the chances of that? What if it was? That would be that'd be crazy. No, it was this one actually. No, I'm just kidding.
Just such a fun little moment right there that we all got to enjoy right now by going back into history together. We just time traveled, and that was awesome. And I went out and did I was staying with my friend Will Abels, great Nashville comedian. He's out on the road a ton. Check him out, Will Abels, comedian. That's ABELES. I crashed at his place. And I went out and did his open mic afterwards at this cool little back room of this bar. I think it's Rosemary and Queen on Monday nights. It was like a tough room, but we all had I think we all had a lot of fun there. We're just being silly, being so silly. I had this little riff here. It's just audio, but I'll play that for you guys.
Call me crazy, but I think this can go well.
Crazy.
Crazy? Okay, all right. Well, we'll try anyways. Tickle, tickle. All right, okay. No, you can laugh out loud. I'd like that. So let it rip. And I'm married. I have this ring on. Are you married? Did you marry into money?
Married her money.
Okay, I don't even know what you said, but at least you're having fun. That's all I care about. I also married. No. I am sweaty. I'm not nervous. I'm just introverted. My vert goes inward, pushes all the sweat out of my pits. That's science. Any fellow introverts here? Okay. I feel so alone. I'm happy how this went. I'm Mikey. Thank you.
If it's a weird room, it brings out my weirdness, and I get extra silly on stage there, typically at an open mic. But sometimes if it's a smaller bar show that's weird, I'll just get super weird. And yeah, it's good to be weird. It is good to be silly, isn't it? Amen, folks. Also earlier in that day, I wanted to say I checked out. I was just feeling super tired because I didn't get a lot of sleep. I needed to wake up before the show, and I was trying to get into a sauna, to sweat it out, sweat out the nerves. And I found this place called Framework. It's they have a cold plunge sauna kind of experience that you can book for an hour. And it was awesome. It wasn't, I think they only do 6 an hour, so it's not crowded. And I'd never done a cold plunge before. I'd done an ice bath for track and field. And I don't think I'll ever do a cold plunge again. But it's nice to, like, I did it. You know, experiencing new things. But the sauna, oh, it was so good. When you pour whenever you can have one where you pour the water on the rocks and you hear that sizzle and you're sweating, that sweat and sizzle, it woke me up and I was feeling jazzed. Had a great night. Woke up the next day on Tuesday. Ran that back, did some work on my laptop, went back to framework, sweated out again before we had a show at Zanies that night, Dusty Slay's Grand Old Comedy Show. It was sold out on a Tuesday. Dusty's hilarious. So it was great to like work with him and do comedy again back at Zanies. Connor Larson was featuring for that show. I'd never seen Connor. I'd just seen clips of Connor online. Also, like from his podcast with Dusty, where they react to funny videos on the internet. That's a fun show. That's a good rec right there for you. But Connor was on the show. I think you see a comedian like be really funny on a clip, and then you're like, well, you know, did they like, you know, strike gold or like hit lightning or whatever, ride the lightning of a moment? But it's like cool to see them live too and like just kill in a room. And Connor was so funny. He had this joke about his three-legged dog, and he's having a YouTube special. He's gonna film a special at Zanies, I think in May. I'll link his Instagram. You know, he's doing great. He doesn't need the help, but just, you know, check him out. I think he's just really funny. Obviously Dusty, you know, is hilarious too. It was great to work with them and do another show there. And then, yeah, man, I ended, you know, that night there. We went out and hung out, smoked some cigars at a cigar lounge that did not have proper ventilation. What did I just say? Ventilation. So like the smoke was just in our eyes, but it was like cool hangout. He had some like, Dusty had some friends come, and I think Connor did as well, but it was just a good hang. Just so fun. It was just like, I don't know, man. It felt like, I don't know how this is contributing necessarily to our mission of collecting a piece of space trash, but I have to believe, I'm choosing to believe that it is all adding up. But I woke up on Wednesday super early. I had to return my rental car on the other side of Nashville, and I did not time it up because I was taking a Greyhound bus to St. Louis to meet up with Jimmy Chuckles. And I don't know if you've taken a Greyhound bus, but boy, I think every American high schooler should have to, as part of their graduation requirements, they should have to ride a Greyhound bus at least 7 hours to just get that perspective. You know, maybe you grew up in a low-income family. Maybe you grew up around a really diverse group of people, or maybe you didn't. But I think requiring everyone to do it would be the great equalizer for, like, this is America. Because I got there like 10 minutes before the bus was going to take off, and I was so glad my Uber driver from my Turo drop-off sped the whole way, because I was like, dude, I cannot miss this bus. I got to get up to the Lou in St. Louis, Missouri. And but I got there, and right when I walked into the Greyhound bus station, there was a middle-aged man in a yelling match with like 6 or 7 security guards. And I was like, all right, dude, we're starting it. And we get on the bus, and there's probably only like 12 people on this bus that could probably hold 80. But the guy sitting a row behind me is on the phone with his partner. I'm assuming his wife or his girlfriend. And they're in a yelling match with each other in Spanish for the first 30 minutes of this bus ride. The guy right next to me, that's on speakerphone. The guy right next to me has his phone full blast, scrolling through his, doom scrolling app, whatever it was, Instagram or TikTok, I don't know. Just watching videos of scantily dressed women shooting assault rifles full blast, just like for the first 15 minutes. And then he puts headphones in for 10 minutes, takes him out. Rest of the ride, he's just watching full volume. And And here's a pro tip: maybe you've already heard this, maybe not. Don't ask someone if they have headphones on a Greyhound bus. That's another reason why I think high schoolers should have to ride the Greyhound bus as part of their graduation requirements, because you got to learn when do you ask someone, when do you tell someone they're being rude, when do you ask someone to not be rude. The Greyhound bus is not the place to do that. But it was such a diverse group. We had somebody speaking Spanish on the bus, in a fight with their partner. Somebody else in the back of the bus, talking they were on a FaceTime. That was exciting to listen to their life, experience. There was this dude that was traveling from New Orleans, Louisiana to Ohio, all by Greyhound. Hadn't slept in 2 days because he's been on the bus nonstop. There was 2 Amish guys on our bus, and it was just like, this is a conglomeration of what makes up America. And me, a part-time unknown comedian, traveling to see one of his best friends. And I survived. I didn't sleep a second on that Greyhound bus, but I survived. Yeah, the rest of that trip, I hung out. The rest of that trip, my friend Chuck, Jimmy Chuckles, his in-laws let me borrow one of their cars, and I drove up to Normal, Illinois. Had to make a pit stop at Cane's, get me some of that fried chicken. And we hung out all week. I got to hang out with him and his family, just crash. We watched March Madness. We watched Mizzou, of course, lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament because they continually like to let us down and break our heart. I think, basketball is fun, when your team wins, and it's heart-wrenching when they lose. But and I think you need to be a sports fan. I think you ought to be, because it teaches you how to grieve. You grieve the little things, so when the heavy things in life happen to you, you can let go of them. That's just one reason. And it was a great hangout with them. We went to a wedding, and then I got to see my parents' new house over in Missouri that they just got. My dad's building it. Well, he's like, it's already built, but he's like renovating the whole thing because he can do anything. And I hope to gain some of his handyman skills, because I'll be back there this weekend, helping out, hanging out with them, which is exciting. But on the flight home, I'm so bad at this, but it was a really early flight, and I mapped it. Again, me with maps, I don't factor in just how time travel. I don't figure out how things are going to change at different times of the day. So anyways, I plugged it in. And I was going to get there like an hour 10 early, and I had a big check bag, and you have to you got to get there 45 minutes before your flight. If you want to check a bag, you have to within 45 minutes of the taking off. That was really hard to get to that point, but we made it, guys. We really did. And I got there, and it was 42 minutes till the flight was taking off, and I ran up to the front of this like 30-person line. I acted like I was a priority member, and I'm not, at Southwest. And this is slightly redeeming, because when I've done this before, the agent didn't let me check my bag, but this guy was like, you know what? We're going to get it in. It may not make it to Seattle by the time you do. You may have to come back to the airport, but we're going to get your bag there. And I was like, my man. I went through the KC airport, had time to grab a coffee, got on the flight, and boy, let me tell you, we just got a Capital One credit card, and the thing I'm most excited about this is the access to airport lounges. Now, as someone who grew up lower middle class, I've never been in an airport lounge, but boy, let me tell you, the Capital One lounge at the Denver International Airport was amazing. It's over in the A gates, so I had like a 45-minute layover, and I just jetted off my plane. I was sprinting across, like, I got to get to this lounge because it's free for card-holding members. I get up there. I'm like, okay. I made it. I've got like 25 minutes before I got to be back at my gate. They scan my card. I get in there, and it's like this immaculate, private cafe. They have like a full bar. They have this hot bar that has a bunch of breakfast items. They had like an egg scramble. They had like this pastry with like a sausage in the middle. and they had this chia pudding. I ate like I wanted to eat 3 of those chia puddings. I think I only ate, maybe I ate 2 or 1. I don't know. I was just stuffing my face with all this like delicate, wonderfully crafted breakfast food. I had a cup of coffee from Huckleberry Roasters in Denver. I was like, oh yeah, this is free, baby. And on the way out, they have like to-go items, and they had cold brew on tap, dude. So I got me a free cold brew that was amaze. Call back, Project Hail Mary. You should watch it in theaters. Keep theaters alive. We need them. And I got this buffalo chicken wrap and a Caesar salad. And they gave me this little chocolate that was peach infused. And then I jetted off to my gate. I made it onto the plane. I ate my sandwich. I drank my cold brew coffee. I edited some videos. And it was a great flight home. I made it home. The light rail from taking the public transportation, if you don't know. The light rail from the airport back up home was shut down. So then I had to ride it for like 25 minutes, then take an Uber up. But I got home, and then I don't know. And then, I got home, and then we had this winery show that afternoon. So it was like just so much like on the go. And I like drop my bags, I take a shower, I go for like a quick run, and then sauna at my local gym, La Fitness. Also, by the way, if you're looking to get referred to my gym, if I can give the name and number for 3 people to La Fitness, they're going to let me pick 3 Pokemon cards. And then they're just going to call you every day for the rest of your life until you sign up. So if you're interested in being telemarketed, I would love to get some free Pokemon cards. But I went to the Winery Show, and my friend Tony Peters, a local comic, was hosting the show. Julie Zach. She was another opener, and then I opened. I did like a 25-minute set, which I don't have any footage from that. There was a funny moment. I'll see if I can get it in time. If not, it'll be on a future episode of a little clip for you to enjoy. But then Sam Ellefson, who's used to be a comic here in Seattle but lives in Denver now, he headlined the show. So funny. He has a YouTube special as well. Check that out. I'll link that in there. He's very funny. I think most of his jokes are like pretty clean. I think he only works clean, or at least his special is mostly clean, if not all clean. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I'm still working through it, but so funny. So check him out. And that was a great show. I was so encouraging. This like one of the guys at the show that was like watching it. They just gave me. They were just like, "Hey man, we like really loved your comedy. Like, we'd love to come, see you more, like where you perform." So I let them know, hey, I'm always at Laughs Comedy Club. Follow me on Instagram. I'll be checking it out. So it's just cool to see people, joining, whether they know it or not, tangentially or maybe like adjacent. They're like Space Trash Force adjacent because they might not know about MHOGP, but they'll hear about the comedy. They'll like the comedy, and that's how we get them in to the Space Trash Force. Maybe that's how you're here right now, and I want to say welcome. Come on. Let's do this thing. Let's get that piece of space trash. We do have some more exciting comedy endeavors I want to talk to you about. Oh, we're doing this monthly show now called The Setup. It's like the second Saturday of every month. It's at the Rabbit Box Theater here in Seattle. And we just had the last month was like a couple weekends ago. And they were like amazing. They were both that we did early and a late show. They were both sold out. The Rabbit Box Theater is maybe, I'm not going to say if it's my favorite room in Seattle, but it's amazing. It's like really just like a tight, like 75, 80 person room. And it's like a low ceiling. You're just crammed in there, but it's comfortable. And it's just a little like laugh box in there. That's what they should call it. Not the Rabbit Box, the laugh box. I was hopping all over that stage. Then the late show, the comic before me was talking about Leavenworth, Washington, which has a bunch of white people there. It's like the town is like a German town. And he was also talking about how he compared Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to like a personality profile, like which turtle are you and like what that reflects about your personality. And I had a fun riff here. It was weird. I just found out that I'm a Donatello. Even worse, I'm a white from Leavenworth. That was rough for me. I got to cut up some more clips from that set because that was like, I don't know if it was better than my set over at New Material Monday at Zanies, but it was, I'll say this, I've never felt more like in a flow state where it was just like everything I said was funny. And I've just felt like I'm writing magic right now. You know, like lines that would like I'd maybe like never said before, like just came to me. And it was just like, we're in like this comedy flow state and it was so fun. So check us out. We'll be there, not this weekend, but the following weekend. So like, I think April 12th is the next setup comedy show. So check that out. If you're in Seattle, I'll be back there doing the early and the late shows. But yeah, I mean, comedy's never been going better. We have a viral post, which is gaining us traction, which is what we're all about. We're about getting traction so we can build up to get a piece of space trash. And from that, we have a new subscriber to the email list from Clearwater, Florida. When will I be in Clearwater? Lynn, thank you for signing up for the email list. I am eager to go do a comedy show in Clearwater. I just don't know when that's going to be. So that's comedy. That's the comedy endeavors update. Now let's talk about how the podcast is helping us toward our mission of collecting a piece of space trash. We haven't experienced a ton of growth, but we do have a new listener. That's right, folks. We've added a new state from the United States of America. We now have a listener in the great state of Utah. Specifically, our listener is in Sandy, Utah. Do you guys know about Sandy? Let me tell you about Sandy. Sandy, Utah is located at the base of the Wasatch Mountains, 13 miles south of Salt Lake City. Oh, a major metropolitan area that we would love to get infiltrated to. We would love to infiltrate for the sake of space trash. Now, Sandy only has 100K people, but that's, I mean, let's get the word out in Sandy. 100K people. Now, Sandy, Utah is the home to the world's first Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, tell me how confusing that is. Kentucky Fried Chicken started in Sandy, Utah? Is that right? That's where Colonel Sanders began franchising his secret recipe in 1952. And is that why he's called Colonel Sanders? I always thought the Colonel was a real person. Turns out it's just because of Sandy, Utah. Gosh, that's exciting. The city is named after a person, Sandy Kinghorn, which is a redheaded train engineer. We love redheads here at MHOGP. Let's see what else. What else do we know about? Oh, they have a popular balloon festival. Now, I don't think balloon technology is to the point where we can float up into space, but if that ever takes off, I mean, that would be much cheaper than taking a rocket ship up to get a piece of space trash. And they also have local attractions like the 9/11 Healing Field, is where a field where you go to grieve 9/11, which is a sad thing to end on. I wish I would have said that earlier, but still, it's cool. Sandy, Utah, we now have a listener there, so thank you, listener from Sandy, Utah. Welcome to the Space Trash Force. Great to have you. Sandy listener, or anybody else, this is a good moment. Let's grow the podcast. If you could rate and review this show on wherever you're listening, and if you do that, and you take a screenshot of that, and you email me at mikeheathcomedy@gmail.com, I will send you a limited edition MHOGP sticker just for doing that, free of charge. Email me your review and your address or wherever you want it shipped to, maybe your work, so you can show your friends, and I'll do that. Thank you so much. We were going to do some space news, but we've run out of time, so we're going to talk about space news next time. So we're going to just wrap up here, folks. It's been so good to be with you for this episode of MHOGP. This weekend, I will be in Topeka, Kansas. It's going Topeka, great show. Check it out. That's for the Hotties of Comedy at the Beacon Theater at, I believe, 7:30 p.m. Check out, the ticket link is in my Instagram bio, or you can just Google that. I think tickets are not sold out quite yet, but I will be doing that show. I hope to do a show in Kansas City on Friday night. If not, I will be at Clint's Comedy Club for their open mic, which I will not be paid for, at 9:30 p.m., but I'll be there if you want to come check out my comedy. You're in the KC area. 9:30 p.m., Clint's Comedy Club. Check that out. Saturday, I'll be in Topeka. 7:30 p.m., Beacon Theater. The following weekend, that next Saturday, which I believe is the 11th or the 12th. Check it out. April 11th or 12th, the Saturday. The Setup Comedy Show, Early and Late Show. Those shows do always sell out. So if you want to come to that, be sure to get tickets quick. And thank you so much for listening. I love you. I always have and I always will. And together, we will clean up our orbital junkyard.